Hello, everyone. It's so nice to have you here, wherever you're joining us from in the world. This is USA Global TV and Radio. I'm Dr. JACALYN KERBECK. I'm the president, founder, and chief listening officer here at our network. Our show today is the United Kingdom news and culture. And if you joined us before, you know that we have a team of expert correspondents who are joining us from the United Kingdom, as well as DIANN FLOYD, the star of our show. Today, Ian Pelham-Turner is off. He's got the day off, so we wish him all the best. Let's bring out our panel, starting with DIANN. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you today?
Nice to see you. Nice to see you. Let's welcome Helena Chard. Hello.
Hi. So good to see you.
Great to see you as well. And also Mr. Simon MacDonald. Hello.
Hello, everybody. Good afternoon, everybody. It is good afternoon here, not good morning. In fact, I skipped out the good bit. It's idle here today.
Good evening, good day. Yes, it's wonderful to have you. And I always love seeing you. This is a great show that we have because we always get different perspectives about what's going on in the world. We read certain things here in the States and then run it by you guys, and it's a different story. So I love that we have news and culture from the United Kingdom, and I love the partnership that we have in our country along with yours. So let's get started. What in the world is going on in the United Kingdom? Who wants to start, Helena or Simon?
Oh, Helena, ladies first.
Okay, I'll start. I mean, we have a lot going on. We have so many things going on. I think I am going to start with something which is just a little bit fun for me, anyway. So over here, I don't know if you have it where you are too, but we've got I'm a Celebrity. Now, I'm a celebrity set in the jungle in Australia, and it's a really fun thing that I actually do look forward to each year. And the last couple of years, it's been set in North Wales because obviously we had COVID and there was a travel restrictions. But what's so fun about it is we have Mike Tindall in the jungle. Now, Mike Tindall is the wife of Zara, and obviously is part of the royal family. Princess Anne is mum. So it's a funny old scenario, and it's sort of brought up a lot of conversation between lots of different broadcasters because, you know, should he be in there? Should he not be in there? But one, it's really fun to have him there because he's a great person in his own right. The fact that he's married to Sarah Phillips is one of those things. But he has a fabulous podcast out called The Good, the Bad, and the Rugby. Oh, I forgot to mention, he's a super sports person and specialises in rugby, done incredibly well. And he's in the jungle at the moment, and it's so cheery because we've got this loads of different people, different personalities, and that's what's so fun about it. You have different personalities, and you see how everyone gets on. And he just is brilliant. I mean, everyone at the moment is thinking, oh, is he going to disclose things about the royal family? What are we going to learn? Are we going to learn this? But actually, what's coming out is he's the most amazing all-rounder. He's a brilliant rapper. He's, you know, absolutely sorting everything out, whether it's picking up spiders and helping everyone. He's a real caring person. And although there's lots of royal broadcasters saying, oh my goodness, it's done something to the royal family, it's created this dent, and it's a negative. I don't see it like that. We're very much, you know, this is the modern world, and he is a person, he's a people's person. He's not a working royal as such, although he represents the royals. And I think it's a lovely way. It creates a connection, and I think that communication and talking is really, really important. So I'm really happy. I'm glued, and I think what the things going on in the world, it's lovely to have something on TV that you can tune into and not take too seriously. And another person that obviously is in the jungle I've not seen at the moment is Matt Hancock. Now, he's a politician that I'm not so keen that he's in there because I do personally think it's wrong because he should be in Parliament. But anyway, he is in there. He's going to bring another dimension to the show. So we're just waiting to see how it pans out. But I don't know about how everyone feels, but I personally like to have something that I can tune into, whether it's, you know, anything really, if it's music, anything that just takes me away from everything that I do, whether it be research or anything. So I'm really, really a big fan.
Yeah.
Thanks for sharing that, Helena. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm a big fan and follower of Dancing with the Stars because that's so you can do that with any generation. My mom and I love to watch it. My dad, my mom and I used to. So I agree with you about that. That's terrific. Simon, what were you going to say?
Yeah, I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here. It's quite compulsive viewing, and at times I wonder why, but it really is. And I mean, they've got some interesting people in this year, as Helena mentioned, Matt Hancock, who is I'd say a politician, a member of Parliament anyway, and former cabinet minister. But he seems to be under the misapprehension that he can still carry out parliamentary duties while he's stuck in the middle of the jungle, living off bugs and God knows what's all there. So I think he's going to be a steep learning curve for him once he finds out just exactly how it all ticks out there. Mike Tyndall, I think, Helena, you've probably won yourself a Bush Tucker trial straight away, referring to Mike as being Zara's wife. But a Freudian.
Oh, did I say that?
And you're a braver person than I am to come out and say that publicly because he's bigger than I am.
Yeah, I didn't even notice. I love that.
That's the joys of live television, folks. There's no editing here. What you see, you get it, warts and all.
That's right. Hot and live.
The other great show, the other great show we've got on just now is Strictly Come Dancing, which I presume is something akin to Dancing with the Stars. I'm not quite sure, but Strictly Come Dancing, it's where you get partners teamed up consisting of a celebrity and a professional dancer, and they compete, having to do various different dances throughout the series, and that again has been absolutely compulsive viewing as well, and thankfully they don't clash at the same time, but that's been a great show to follow up. And it's not just those that are dancing, but apparently in the audience, the people that are clamoring to be seen in the audience watching there as well. It's really quite something. So it's become a bit of an institution, this show, over the years, and they're about halfway through the series at the moment. So there's all sorts of bets on as to who might finally win this at the end of the day, but that remains to be seen. So there we are.
Yeah, it sounds like it's very similar to Dancing with the Stars. And there are 4 judges, and one of the judges is from the UK, Len. He's the top judge. So
okay.
It must be the same then, because Len Goodman was he was head of the judges panel before, yes. And we used to have what's his name? There was one of the judges who actually lived in the States, an Italian chap, Bruno.
Bruno, he's on there too.
Hilarious.
So basically, all the stars are being swapped, aren't they, from country to country?
Yeah.
That's so funny.
So when does this show over there? When does it air live now?
It's airing live now. I think it's a Saturday evening, and then they have the results of the Saturday show on the Sunday evening as well. And you can guarantee, I think, probably half the population at least are all tuned in to see who's coming on next. So it must be the same show. I mean, you've got the same 2 judges there, so it's got to be the same.
Do you remember any of the performers?
Well, I wasn't one of them. When it comes to
well, I can name 2 of them who come to mind. Cheryl Ladd, she used to be on Charlie's Angels. Is she on? Yeah. Was she on there?
No, not on our UK version.
No.
Wow,
it's interesting, isn't it? It's
because you would think it's the same show, but they just air it 2 days before. Here, it's Monday and Tuesday.
Yeah,
it's a different concept, and I think what they do, it's almost like a franchise. It works that each country will purchase whatever rights it is. So then the people that are great in your country or whatever country it is will be the ones that are on the panel. So it's interesting to think that you've got Len now, because he started with us at the beginning. So it does change from time to time, but I love it. And you know what? All my friends do, and everyone I know does, and obviously you guys do too. So it's a huge, success, isn't it? I love to hear
For
success
sure.
stories.
Yes. I think one of the others.
Len Goodman's catchphrase basically was with holding up the paddle, 7, and that was he became famous for that.
It's a 10 from Len. Exactly.
That's funny.
One of the things I really like about this show is that the celebrities are not typically the A-list celebrities of today. They may have been A-list in their time, and they all have a backstory. They all have something that they had to overcome, and they have to dig deep to pull it out of themselves, whether dancing. It's pretty cool. I really love it.
It is. Actually, you've hit on something there, Dr. JACALYN, because I don't know whether is Bros big with you? You know the Bros boys, the Bros brothers? They're like twins,
No.
Oh, that's a bit bad.
How do you spell it, Helena?
Bros, BROSS, and I can't remember his name, but I should know. But anyway, so one of the guys from Bros boys in my time were huge, and we all sort of were like groupies in a way, charge around following them. Really lovely. Anyway, I think one of them went to the States, and that's why I mentioned it. And I think he was quite successful, but you don't seem to know him. I wish I could remember his name. But you mentioned about they always have a backstory, but he has been on our recent program. And he actually talked about feeling very lonely, and what he did, he had so many fans, and it's quite interesting how it turns. So he has loads of followers, loads of fans that absolutely adore him, but he in himself was quite lonely. And what he did every week was he invented something that was he'd contact one of his fans, and then there'd be like a live talk, which was obviously went out to all the other fans. But I always thought, how lovely to do that for his fans. How special must you feel? Like anyone would feel special if it's someone you love. And actually, he then divulged, bless him, that he actually needed that probably more because he felt so lonely. And then he wasn't really connecting with anybody because he was sort of in this cocoon. He was quite famous. And then by connecting with his fan, it gave him equally the same thrill, even more than the fan. So I just felt, gosh, how brave to come out and say that. So I felt as well watching him I felt like saying Dancing on Ice, and I know it's Strictly Come Dancing, sorry. I just loved seeing him, and it was just beautiful. But anyway, I just wanted to share that because it was what you said, Dr. JACALYN. It's true that everyone has a story. And he's really quite famous. So to come out and be so vulnerable, it's a strength, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I
it is.
definitely agree with you.
It was two brothers, Matt and Luke Goss.
Yeah, that's it.
One of them's into acting now, and the other one, I think, is still involved in music. So a friend of mine produced a movie last year called The Loss Adjuster. And I think it was Matt Goss that was it Matt or was it Luke? It was one of the two that had a lead role in this movie, and it was a sort of black comedy. It was quite funny. And Joan Collins, she was in the movie as well.
So
Joan Collins from Dynasty.
Dynasty. Oh God, there's a name from the past.
That was one of my favorite shows.
Yes.
How about Dallas? Did you have Dallas?
Absolutely.
We had Dallas. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. They're the good old times, aren't they? Those programs.
I went and visited
Sure.
the house, and of course had to take tons of pictures being there. So,
Does anybody live there now, Diann, or is just a set?
it's a beautiful home, beautiful grounds, but it's a touring home. So.
Okay.
But my friend and I, we were lucky when we went. We were the only ones there because it was off season. So they just let us have tea and pretend we lived there. And so I had some fabulous pictures.
Oh,
I
I'd
love
love to
that.
see them.
I'll
So-
shoot them privately.
Were you wearing
Yes,
high
that-
heels and standing on the top of the, the staircase and, hello, I'm coming down now, darlings.
No, I didn't know you were going to be that lucky, or definitely would have tried something like that. So we-
Yes, that was really quite a cult show, that one as well. I mean, it was screened all over the world. Larry Hagman, who played J.R. Ewing, he came to Fort William once, and I met him there, and he was, everybody was stopped and say, "Oh, hello, Mr. Hagman, could you sign the autograph?" And he was handing out, it was like $100 bills, but it was his face that was on the $100 bill. And he was dishing these things out to everybody. And of course, they're all sort of thinking, "Oh, run off to the bank and change it." And then, "Oh, no."
so they see it's him. That's
So
hysterical.
funny. I remember Larry Hagman from I Dream of Jeannie. Of course,
Yeah.
that show today would never be able to be on the air. But do you remember that show? Jeannie lived in a bottle and she was in love with Larry Hagman. What was his name? Captain Nelson.
Captain Nelson.
I don't think that was here in the UK. Was it here in the UK? I don't think so.
Yeah,
Unless I missed it.
you
I
might be.
didn't know you were even born then.
Oh,
It competed with Bewitch.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Bewitched, yeah. But yeah, that was a great show. Barbara Eden, I believe, is her name.
Oh, yeah, that was her name.
Yes.
Those
Yes.
were nice, fun, clean shows.
They were in the days of steam-driven television.
Yes, you
we're in a
can.
different world.
Yeah, you
Now
can.
broadcast. Sorry.
You can see these shows on YouTube, by the way. Petticoat Junction, Rawhide, all the Wagon Train. So I'm sure some of your favorites when you were growing up are probably on YouTube.
Oh, they're probably just coming on the mainstream television here now. Then.
Could be. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. No, but I mean, what were some of the childhood shows y'all liked in England that were yours?
I don't know. I never saw them in Scotland.
Oh, okay, sorry, Scotland, the UK. I apologize. Well,
No, there were great ones. I mean, the kiddies programs, the Wooden Tops, who were family, and then there was another one, Muffin the Mule. I always wondered if that was a sexual offence. And Andy Pandy and all these other shows as well, and Bill and Ben, the Flower Pot Men. I'm really giving my age away now.
I'll have to look those up on YouTube. So thanks for sharing some of the names.
I have to say, I'm very much into. I love children's programs. I love anything that's like fantasy or anything like that. We have little programs here like the Barber Puppers. I think maybe Simon, you might remember the Barber Puppers. And I loved anything, even from a younger age. I loved anything that gave a moral stance. So we've had some lovely programs.
Yeah.
I just, I love simplicity, really.
I think that's.
I mean, let's say there's actually only really one channel, it was BBC, and that was about it. And then ITV came along, and then eventually BBC Two, and everybody was saying, "We're spoiled for choice now. There are 3 channels in television."
Is that the same as what we had here way back? ABC,
Yeah.
NBC, and CBS? No.
And that's it. And then at 10 o'clock at night, suddenly they'd play "God Save the Queen," and that was it. And that was television finished until about midday the next day. It was just a blank screen with the test card on. So yes,
isn't it funny how you think how broadcasting has changed so much? Really, because now we've got this 24/7 news, and we've got social media, and everything is just like full on, isn't it? 24/7.
It's crazy, right?
And the crowning glory of it all as well is USA Global TV and radio.
Yes.
That's right. There you go. Look where we are today.
Positive, isn't it? That's the positive.
Yeah, because I was going to say, it's when I do have an opportunity to watch something, there's nothing on. There's literally nothing on any of the Netflix. I pay them every month. Sorry, guys, but I don't feel like there's enough new content that's brought on. Like we have new content every day. I love it. But
yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, the budgets are low because there are so many different stations now that rely on advertising for their income that it's spreading the jam very thin now. So their budgets are much lower accordingly, and so if the budgets are lower, then the standard of the show is going to be that little bit lower as well. So it's, it's becoming a victim of its own success.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
definitely.
A good point.
I don't know.
Good point.
It's positive.
Think
I was going to
positive.
say that Prince Edward, who's the Earl of Wessex here, he's talking about broadcasting. He, in his sort of previous life, was very much into the arts and theatre and TV. He had something as well that was put out on TV called it's the Royal Knockout. Now, it actually wasn't such a great success, but the reason why I brought it up is it's just, thinking about royal broadcast and people being involved in broadcast. He at the moment is the royal patron for the Reading Rep Theatre. Now, this theatre has just celebrated its 10-year anniversary. It's very successful. And obviously, he has all the attributes to be a fantastic patron at the moment, so which is really quite exciting. And during COVID, the year during COVID, they did a lot of building work and extended it all. And it's now like a 163-seat theatre. And it's also a cultural hub. So it brings in loads and loads of different people. So especially young people who can hone their art, their skill, which is lovely. And also it's got a great outreach. So people that would never have the opportunity to maybe see theatre and production can come in and see that, which is absolutely fantastic. And also there was like a corporate day as well that we turned up to. And it was very much a partnership scheme where people work together, they connect, they network with fellow organisations. And obviously it becomes like a big group thing. And so the more you give, the more you get back. I really believe in that. So I'm really, really pleased. And I think the Earl of Wessex and his family are sterling, He's obviously a working member of the royal family. And since 2002, I think since 2002, that's he's been a working member of the royal family. So he gave up that kind of life. So it's lovely to see him being a patron because he has a lot to give, especially to the younger generation. So I just wanted to share that with you. And I think as well, he obviously comes from the background of that, but talking of broadcasting, in 1969, the royal family as a whole, it was called Royal Family, and it was a broadcast, it was a TV documentary. I think it was the late Prince Philip that wanted to put, so that the people could connect, the general person could connect with the family. He realised after a while that it was a little bit invasive, and it was pulled. But it was a fascinating documentary. If anyone wanted to ever tune into it, it is actually, although it was pulled from YouTube, I think it's back on YouTube, and it's a really good one to see, because obviously 1969, in fact 21st of June 1969, it's a date in my mind for a certain reason, but yeah, so it's lovely to see that Prince Edward is coming to the fore, because he's almost been looked at as the spare in royal life, almost like Prince Andrew was, etc. And so it's lovely to see the positives coming through, and obviously a successful family.
I think it's exciting to see Prince Edward. You don't really hear that much about him, so for him now to have an opportunity to shine is exciting.
Yeah, he's really come of age now, I think, and he is starting to become a little bit higher profile on the circuit now. I think this is all part of the idea for the slimmed down royal family. God, I wish I could slim down a bit.
I was actually thinking about it. I always wonder as well, because obviously Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, was obviously the late Queen Elizabeth II's youngest son. I was maybe to spell it out a bit more sometimes when we're speaking, because I get so used to speaking about the royal family as though they're sort of part of the family and such. But obviously, if you're in a different country, why should people know people? So just something that just went through my mind.
No, that's really true. That's really true. You don't really hear much about Prince Edward over here, at least in my neck of the woods. I can't speak for Dr. JACALYN.
No news over here.
so it's exciting, and
He does exist, honest, but he is starting to come a little bit more to the fore now. I think we are starting to hear more of him, and I think a lot of that goes down to his wife, Sophie. I mean, she's a great ambassadress. Is that the right word? Is there such a word, ambassadress, as opposed to ambassador? But she's, she does a very, very good job, and she's settled the royal life extremely well. And it must be quite a terrifying, thing to get into, to suddenly become a royal. It's, the world spotlight is on you. They will pick up, the media will pick up on the slightest mistake, and then they can blow that up quite dramatically. But she's not put a foot wrong. She's been very, very good, and a great asset to the firm, as the royal family are referred to, because it is a family business. I'd hate to be King Charles, because there's absolutely no prospects of promotion whatsoever when she
Well,
and if you're ambitious, you've had it. Who wants to be next in line?
Yeah, but at the end of the day, King Charles has waited so long. So King Charles is absolutely so happy that he's King Charles, obviously. So amazing. But something that I found funny, and I hadn't realised at the time, and I know that we've spoken about this previously. Obviously, Tom Cruise, everyone knows Tom Cruise, and he's sort of become the darling of Great Britain as well. And I had always wondered why he managed to almost infiltrate, British life, and he was there at Platinum Jubilee celebrations for Her Majesty the Queen. And he's always around at the great times, and I know he gives hugely to all his fans. So I am a fan. But I learned recently about that Her Majesty the Queen absolutely loves superheroes, loves action heroes. And she met, so it's 2 months and a day actually since she passed. I just thought I'd mention that. But she loved action heroes. She met all the James Bond characters. She actually thought of her husband, the late Prince Philip, as an action hero, which I can see when he was younger. And so she was always very curious about Tom Cruise, and she'd hoped to meet Tom Cruise during it's called the Gallop Through History, which was the celebration of the Platinum Jubilee. It was an equestrian event in Windsor. That didn't quite come to fruition anyway, so she invited Tom Cruise, a personal invite, to have tea with her. And obviously gave him the thumbs up as well, that he'd come in his helicopter and actually land on her grounds in Windsor, which is honestly, that's an amazing thing, isn't it? Which he did, and he couldn't believe it. He always has been a fan, because he relates to all of her, or related to all of her, the great things, her whole way of being. And so they had tea, fantastic. She absolutely loved it and enjoyed talking to him. And in fact, invited him round to a further dinner as well, but that didn't come to fruition because he passed. But I just loved hearing that, because when something doesn't make sense, and then that tiny little thing creates that sense, and it's like complete now. And I just love the fact that she just loved superheroes, and Tom Cruise to her was one of her action heroes.
That's awesome, and it makes I love stories like that, because it makes you relatable to the Queen. Like, she's human, but she's a queen, but she's human, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So I loved it.
Yeah, thanks for sharing that.
Oh, that's okay. I love reading it, actually. I was thinking, goodness, that makes sense now. But there's been so much going on. I think the most recent thing is that King Charles has been on a tour to the north of England, so to Yorkshire in the UK, and he gave some funny there's been he's visited lots of places, and he actually visited Bradford, which is the headquarters of Morrison's, which is a big UK sort of supermarket. I don't know whether it's in the States. And he expressed his sort of like love of roast dinner. So it came out that he was sharing his tips on roast potatoes of all things. So it was all to do with roast dinners. And I think he was actually there to do with ethical farming, various eggs and things. But he shared his thing about roast potatoes, and the best roast potatoes are made, using meat fat, whatever it might be, and that was his thought. But I have to say, I know that his wife Camilla is a fantastic cook, and I really can't believe that Prince Charles. Oh, so I've done it. Prince Charles, King Charles III, will be there making his own roast potatoes. But it was very nice of him to share that with everybody. Yes. It's a bit of a fun twist.
That is.
How does everyone like their roast potatoes?
Yeah, well, I mean, King Charles, he spent a lot of time north of the border in Scotland. I was going to say since he took up the reins, but it's not. It's really, he's taken up the reign, I suppose, as per his job. But he spent a lot of time in Scotland. It's nice to see. We could do with some talent appearing up here. And he's, I think he's doing a very good job. He's had plenty of practice building up to it. And Camilla, as Queen's consort as well, has settled to it just like a duck to water. She's fitted in extremely well. And there were so many critics to begin with, people thinking, oh, is this going to work and so on, because Diana's still fresh in the mind. But she's got the respect of an awful lot of people now that she's there to do a really excellent job, and she's got the respect and the love of the public as well, and she likes Scotland, so she can't be that bad.
That's right.
I just wondered, between the two of them for public appearances, how many, I mean, just from percentage, how many do they have to do together versus separate? Any idea on that?
I suppose the saying, there's no show without punch. I mean, they're a great double act, and they have to be seen. They have to do these things together. I think there must be the odd occasion when they do separate events, because their schedule is the schedule the Royals run is crippling. It is the most extraordinary schedule. You or I couldn't cope that pace, I'm quite sure. You've got to be somebody with quite a special constitution to be able to keep up that pace. And the Princess Royal, Princess Anne, she is, I believe she is the hardest working royal of all when it comes to public engagement. She seems to do more than any of the others. And she is an extraordinary person, and she's got a great memory for people and places. And I've met her on a couple of occasions, and you could sort of pick up the conversation where you left off last year or the year before. Extraordinary memory for that, and I think it's a very important part of the job they have as well, rather than being introduced and thinking, who the heck was that? Oh, and you stuck for names and so on. It happens to us all. It's called getting old. But in the case of being a public figure like a member of the royal family, then you do have to have that skill of being retentive in your memory on who's who, and just take it in your stride. And if you make a mistake or a gaffe, somehow you cover it up, and they always seem to get away with it. Lucky them.
That was interesting. Do you, Simon or Helena, do the royals have a personal trainer? Do any of them have some kind of exercise routine or regimen?
Are you looking for a job?
No, I just wonder, with that rigorous schedule that they have, do they have time to, work out and take care of themselves?
I think it's just by the work they're doing that the energy is there in what they're doing, and the enthusiasm they've got as well. I mean, I always, if I'm interviewing anybody for a job, the first thing I say, what is the most important criteria in a management position? And I'm looking for the word energy. Because if
Energy.
you've got the energy, you can carry it through. If you haven't got the energy, then it's just all going to fizzle down eventually. So that's it. So they've got bags of energy, and they can carry these things through. And I hats off to them. I think it's a pretty thankless task, but they're worth their weight in gold. I mean, the unseen revenue that comes into the UK because of our royal family is quite extraordinary. In the first place, people, they go into London, they want to see Buckingham Palace, and they want to see, well, we can't see the Queen anymore, but they want to see the King now, and or they want to see somebody from the royal family. They want to see the pomp and ceremony that surrounds it all, and it's it's our best shop window and selling point of all. People, they come to Scotland, they go to Edinburgh, they go to the castle, they want to see the Scottish crown jewels as well because of the royal connection. And once they've done that, they go down the other end of the Royal Mile after sampling several of the 2 or 3 dozen pubs on the way down as well. And they finish up at Holyrood Palace at the other end, which is the royal residence, official residence when they're in Scotland. And they want to see around there as well. The royalty sells the United Kingdom and Britannia as well. I mean, I was around Britannia just earlier on this year, and it's just a wonderful experience. And I believe Britannia is now rated in the top 10 tourist attractions of the world. So it is an incredible story, and you go around the yacht, and you can see the Queen's bed, and you can see the all the royal apartments, and you get the whole history and the whole story behind it. It's it sells the UK big time.
I love your enthusiasm. And I love the fact that you're talking about the royal family, Simon. That's fabulous.
You sound surprised.
I just love the enthusiasm. At the moment, I've been having meetings with lots of people, and there's lots of disillusioned people as well. And I think probably fans of Her Majesty the Queen, and obviously we're going to do lots of things here. And it's amazing how you meet people that actually have a negative slant. But I'm always talking, obviously, up the royal family, and they bring a huge amount of revenue, and it's lovely, well, myself to meet the royal family, but also to come and see all the lovely establishments. Royal Yacht Britannia, you mentioned. I wasn't there so long ago, and I absolutely love it. And I just, I'm so excited about it. I think at the moment, King Charles III, he has he's doing incredibly well. He's doing really well. But as always, you're going to have bad eggs, pardon the pun, who come in that try and cause a problem. And we talked about them being in Yorkshire recently. And I know just recently somebody's thrown an egg or tried to throw eggs. And I know this has happened over the years. And it's all to do with, I threw eggs, and it was like, our country's built on the blood of, blah, 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 slavery. And it's been a big thing at the moment. And I know King Charles was in Rwanda recently, and he expressed his personal sorrow over, I guess, painful history of slavery. And that was on a Commonwealth tour. But I heard something, I think, which has just dropped, is that he has a goddaughter called Fiona Compton, who is an artist and a historian. And actually, I think she's an official ambassador for Notting Hill Carnival, which is a fabulous carnival here in the UK, which is once a year. There's a great celebration. And she was born in St. Lucia. And her father was actually the Prime Minister. I think it's when the country became independent in St. Lucia in something like 1979. But she happens to be King Charles's goddaughter, and she has expressed, because of the meeting recently, that King Charles wants to speak about it. He wants to talk about the slave trade and various things like that. And I think everyone sort of jumped on this now because they're saying King Charles is about to make a speech, he's about to talk about everything. And I know that he would want the world to be taught about slave trade as wildly as, you know, as much as the Holocaust, let's say, because I think it's like anything, you know, you need to educate, and I think here in the UK, people don't know, and probably all over the world as much as they should, and King Charles is very much someone who likes to educate and wants to talk, so and building diversity and sort of understanding is what he does. But his goddaughter, Fiona Compton, sort of started this talk now, and I actually feel that it's not quite correct how she's been worded. And obviously, we know what media's like. They jump on things, and all of a sudden, 2 and 2 becomes 10, and various things, because obviously to go into it too much becomes political. And as we know, it's not something that King Charles, although we know his background and he's a political person, I don't think he's going to really jump into it in a huge way. So at this moment, this is a big, big discussion, but I think it's a good discussion. And Fiona, I mean, the reason why this came about is that King Charles visited her, and it's a project, something called World Reimagined or something like that. And it's like large sculptures in different cities in the UK, created by UK artists, and it's bringing to life really the impact and transformation of the slave trade. So I hope I've been clear in mentioning that, but it's a campaign, and obviously these sculptures will be used to raise funds, support, and awareness. I think in a way, I think she's possibly been, goddaughter has been a little bit naughty, but I think the media may have twisted things. But you know, I actually believe in everything. It's like we have a refugee scenario here without going into it. The biggest thing is to talk. It's communication in anything. Not just talking, sorry, and Dr. Jacqueline will say this as well, listening. Listen to what people want to be heard. And being heard, and also communication. It's such a skill, and it's something that everyone should work towards.
Yay, I love that. Brilliant, thank you. And we're working on that every day here on this channel, aren't we? Listening. Fantastic. Well, it's time to listen up because the show's over.
Wow.
It went fast.
We were just starting to get wound up and into it.
I know, I feel like we just said hello.
I know. We haven't heard about great things going on in Scotland, so we'll have to make sure we do that next time.
Right, well, Scotland's tidal today. I think it's beforehand in the green room, we were saying that the tide doesn't come in here, it comes down. It has been very wet and very, very windy as well. I mean, our fishing fleet are mostly tied up today. The wind's 50, 60 miles an hour, gusting probably more, and very rough sea state. So that's it. So the price of fish this week is going up and up and up. But it's all academic. If the boats can't get out, then the fish don't come in. So
That's right.
Well, to all my friends here in Florida, please be safe, and hopefully this hurricane will just blow by, so to speak. And Simon, Helen, and Diane, I hope that you're all safe and that you all have a beautiful rest of your week.
Will do. It's great seeing everybody.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and hello to Ian. We look forward to having him back next week and getting caught up with the rest of you. So do go over to our YouTube channel, USA Global TV and Radio, and do click subscribe. We will be right back with our next show, which is Global Adventures. So do join us for that as well. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.